Stephano even, was very, very odd. Things didn't make sense. Well, get used to it, because this is going to be very similar, I am almost certain. This ain't going to be standard. This ain't going to be normal, because Goblin doesn't do normal things. The Void Ray printer, I'm sure, will be going before the day is out, as we start things off here in Jagannatha, our first player in the bottom left. Now teamless after leaving Gamers Origin. He is the Blue Zerg player from France, the Chief Information Officer. It's Stephano.
And his opponent, representing Team Roddy, it is the Phoenix Man himself, the Void Ray Printer himself. It is Goblin. Slayer of Clem.
Yeah, I know. Goblin is the most... He's the strangest player, of course. He can be... And there was a time a couple of years ago, or maybe about 18 months ago, where he was really, really struggling. And then he played like an online cup and he beat Cyril. And this is when Cyril was at his peak. And then he'll lose to like... I don't know, some 5-4 player, and it's like, Goblin, what are you? He does things his own way. I said in the previous series today that I love a player that has a style, and Goblin has a style. He's also a very close personal friend, and someone I really care about. I really want him to succeed, as does everyone else, I think, in the scene that doesn't think he's arrogant. So far, it's looking pretty normal. Stephano not doing anything wild. I said earlier that Goblin probably had an opportunity to watch the games and see what Stephano was doing. And he said, do you really think I paid attention? Which I'm not sure if that's, a bit of bravado or if he genuinely just wasn't paying attention. Both wouldn't surprise me. And I'm curious if we're going to see a very, very quick Stargate. Because, I mean, it's kind of Goblin's thing. And he's got a lot of gas banked up. He's going to Stargate.
Yeah, it's almost... It would almost be surprising if it wasn't. Obviously, Goblin is who he is, and the meta is what it is. And it works for him very well. He is a big fan of going straight Sky Toss in many situations. Now, we'll have to see if that's what we're going to be seeing out of him today. Because Stephano, like I said earlier, he's got some very good late-game control, and... Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We mentioned before yesterday that he's not as practiced as he has been. You said he only played like 15 games
in a month.
Leading into things. Or
Goblin's
I guess
played that today.
Sunday.
Yeah, Goblin's played 15 games today. He was streaming earlier, so both players are warm as well. Stephano has just played a series and he won. So momentum is, it's a very important tool. We talked a lot about momentum and what it means, and he's got that. He just beat Strange 2-1 in a matchup where either player could have won. This is going to be a lot of fun. I think these two styles are going to clash. We're going to have a real difference here because Stephano wants to get to lurkers, and Goblin doesn't want to let him, or Goblin wants to let him, and he wants to match him with some Void Boys. And there is Void Boy number 1 going to get the Overlord kill here. And the second one already queued up. Does he keep it going? Oh, of course he does. It's Goblin.
It is going to be that Void Ray Printer. What else could it be? Goblin, he's going to move on over to secure this third base. And, he actually...
345.
Wow, he actually canceled the second Void Ray to start up the Nexus quicker.
I think he wanted to see if there was an Overlord there. And if there was, he probably would have gone for a slightly slower... third base, but because this is like the earliest third base, like 340 is so early. 345. It's we saw in the previous game when Strange went Phoenixes, he got his like 555. Goblin got it over 2 minutes earlier. And behind this, 2 more Stargates steadfast.
Oh my god! And he's going back to his roots. It's gonna be triple Stargate Phoenix.
Yeah.
EG Disruptor. What TL? I don't know. There's a gamer tag, or there's an account he had on NA where he would do this all the time.
It was like EG Disruptor TL, you're right.
Yeah, it was something funky. I remember running into it a bunch of times, just being like, you can't just make Mass Phoenix. You know that the crying meme? That was me every time.
If there's anyone that can.
Yeah.
Into the sky. Now, 3 Stargates up and running, and triple Stargate. Triple Phoenix production has begun, +1 air weapons has begun. The scary thing for Stephano is, could this be quick carriers? Could this be mass Void Ray? Could this be, a fake, as we saw Strange do in a bunch of gateways? Unlikely, I'd say, from how much gas was taken. But you never know, Stephano is getting his lair But this build, I mean, its entire purpose is to go. It's going to be able to pick up everything. Queens, especially if you only have like 6 queens and there's like 11, 12 phoenixes suddenly showing up, all of those queens will die. This is really, really scary if you don't know it's coming. And Stephano doesn't have a bloody clue right now.
He's got no idea. No idea. And there's no way for him to really scout either. He's got these nicely prepared, I would say, Lambo Zerglings on control. Watching for all the exits of his base. And he is going to be going 1-1 Hydras, which is actually going to be probably one of the better things you can do against Phoenixes. But it's a very, very delicate balance of Hydras versus Phoenixes. If one side, so normally in other fights, like between units, when one side wins, by the way, these do get scouted, they win by a little bit. In Hydra versus Phoenixes, either the Hydras win by a lot or the Phoenixes win by a lot. There's really no middle ground.
No, I agree with you there, definitely. And right now, not many spores and queens are not in position, so the son of Rotterdam doing what he does best, going to kill a whole bunch of drones with phoenixes. This overlord as well, not in for a good day at the office, he will go down. And what's most important for Goblin right now is he doesn't lose phoenixes because they massively, massively scale. A Nidus network, wow. That is, oh gosh, that's a lot of transferring drones. Okay, only 2 of them going down, but that's 9 drones for free. Not a single phoenix went down. And now the queens are out of position, and as I said, if you're caught with just a couple of queens, they die. He's not going to kill all these, though, I don't think.
He's going to get lifts on everything. Will this be enough, though? 1 Phoenix is not going to go down.
Oh, he's going to get them all. He's going to kill them all. Oh, no, he's not. I was kidding. It was a bait. But, I mean, he didn't even lose a Phoenix. 9 drones, 3 queens, and an overlord for nothing. He's not lost a unit this game.
He has canceled 1 pylon, and that is all.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little bit awkward, though. The Nidus Worm does get, or Nidus Network. Nope, Nidus Worm. Nidus Worm does get scouted here. The queens are going to...
That was my impression. Was it good?
It was perfect. It was spot on.
You thought there was a second Nidus, didn't you? That's how good it was. Rico.
I did.
Okay. No spores here. Which is a little scary. There's going to be, though. There we go. This is scary for Goblin. You can see he's getting his fleet beacon. He's making nothing but phoenixes still. How many phoenixes? 18. There's 17 hydras, though. So there's actually enough hydras so that Goblin cannot lift everything. And now this is going to be encroaching on his on his doorstep. And what has Goblin got? He's getting charged. He's getting +1. If he can get enough on the ground and get charged alongside this, it'll be okay. Tempest. That's a good idea that I can really consider Steadfast.
Yeah, they're going to be out a lot quicker than carriers, and they will be able to range down Hydras and Queens, and they do a surprising amount of damage versus ground units. Yeah. But will he still have the time? Stephano is pushing right now. Charge still about 10 seconds away, but it's going to complete very shortly.
Yeah, so the front wall here is going to go down, including the cybernetic score, which is frustrating because that's air weapons, you know, central. That's where those upgrades come from. But charge has now completed. The question is, will Leon commit to the fight? Because this is a bunch of spore crawlers. Or does he wait for Tempest and go for the slower route? The scary thing with doing that is, of course, you might lose some units. You might lose some workers as you do it. Goblin right now, he's trying to keep his army split up safely. And I don't hate this, but he needs to do something. Here we go.
Oh my god, it's so many phoenixes. He's going to start lifting things up. Charge
so
getting on top of Hydra.
There's so many.
I don't think there's enough Zerg here. So many units getting lifted right there, but that will mean not as many phoenixes firing.
There's still 17. Oh, they're going down,
right? So many. The Tempest were actually such a good decision.
Yeah, they were just sieging away that entire time, and once the static defense goes, then the phoenixes, now there is enough to lift everything. And that is what we're going to see here. One of those... Spore crawler's very low. I imagine it will get taken out. Goblin, yeah, he's going to take that out. And Goblin and Stephano's forced to retreat. Now, Stephano behind this does have 5 bases. He does have an okay drone count. He's not into the 90s by any means, but he's not out of it. Nidus up at the top left. I think Goblin's going to find it pretty quick, though.
Oh, yeah, this is not going to... Oh, yeah, he lifts the Zergling.
Just like...
Maybe if they all work together, they can lift that Nidus network, you know? Maybe they can just... ape together strong.
Yes, that's what we need.
I do like the addition of the Hive. Vipers are going to do very well against this army. Ooh, a little bit awkward for Goblin. Does lose a couple Phoenixes, not quite paying attention, but he's still got a terrifying count of 13 Phoenixes. And
8
Tempests.
Tempests. And Tectonic Destabilizers is done, which means all of the buildings are going to go down very, very quickly. I'm talking about buildings going down quickly. Drones going to be joining them. That's 11 dead drones for what maybe... No, I don't even think one Phoenix will go down. No, that's a big pickup here. Goblin able to keep Stephano's drone count into the 70s instead of getting up into those 90s. He's now getting Storm. Look at those Tectonic Destabilizers. It looks like they shoot fireballs. It's beautiful.
Oh, it's so cool. They just look so cool.
You just flipped the camera away as they were firing! You're a tease, Steadfast. You're a tease.
I got to keep the viewers invested.
Yeah.
I gave them just a little taste, and now now we'll have to stick around.
Yeah, that's like what I do with girls, except not even slightly. Finally, observers join the fray and all of this creep will be pushed back, allowing Goblin to take this forward 4th base once the creep sort of disappears into the ground and get rained away here. Carrier production has begun. Goblin is at a pretty good spot. My one concern for him is that his upgrades kind of... Okay, 2-2's about to finish. That's fine. They're not as bad as I thought they'd be. He did rebuild that second... cybernetics core, and yeah, 3 carriers being produced at a time. Very scary here for Stephano, but Goblin's going to run out of money pretty soon if he can't secure that 4th, and the Vipers are already out. Of course, that Lurker down on the way. Goblin doing once again a great job. How many drones have gone down in total? Only 25. I actually thought it would be closer to 35.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more.
Yeah, but this is still this is a great game of StarCraft.
Oh, that's a fun one for sure. It's funny, you said 2-2 was finishing, and like I just was like, oh yeah, Goblin 2-2.
Yeah,
like,
it's Goblin's 2-2.
Plus 2
yeah.
ground, plus 2 air. Like yeah, Goblin's 2-2.
Yeah. I don't think Goblin knows there's armor upgrades. I don't honestly think he knows. Like no one's told him yet. He's like,
why
what?
would you ever get armor
Why do you need that?
Yeah, shooting at you.
It's not a DPS upgrade. Yeah,
ridiculous.
He's going to lift every unit. They're not going to fight. And there we go. Goblin's free starting up. Stephano's free starting up. He does have very good Carapace upgrades, and he has a lot of Hydras. And in low numbers, Carrier super not great against Hydras. Here we go. Oh, looks so good. Thank you for letting me have this one. Oh, though, here come the Vipers. Carriers in the back. Storm is done, and these are going to be some big storms. Actually, oh my god, there's the money one up on these remaining units, and Goblin didn't even lose workers, and he barely lost anything, I think.
Oh, that was the stuff. That was the stuff that dreams are made of and nightmares for this. Nice feedback coming in on... Wait, did he feedback the Overseer? Stephano's surprised. He's building 27 more Hydras. But
I'm very surprised.
That battle report is not safe for Zerg. Oh my god. 44 Hydras and 2 Vipers. And look at this hilarious parasitic bomb.
This Void Ray doesn't care. And I'm very surprised. Okay, there we go. Goblin forgot a Phoenix range. I was about to say, I think it's a little bit surprising he hasn't got it. These carriers could be a little far from home here. But there's enough Phoenixes, I think, to support them. Oh my gosh, that Viper has 1 hit point. This is a wild game of StarCraft 2. 3-3 getting ever closer for both of these players. Goblin's Phoenix range coming in, but the carrier count now, he's about to hit 6.
Uh-oh. This hatchery is getting a little bit on the low side.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, we're just going to watch this Viper do its thing. And then I was like, wait a minute, let's check on the hatchery. And it's like, wow, if he does that one more time, he's actually just going to kill the hatch. That would always be an awkward thing. Now, Stephano, the big issue for him is dealing with the storm. The storm is really what, ruined his day. And he is going to have lurkers in time, but the carrier count is also much, much higher. We have seen Microbial Shroud being effective against carriers in recent history, but I don't know if that's going to be an option.
As well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to be standing still with the army Goblin has, and Goblin's really started to build a scary force. He has his Goblin-esque 3-3 done. No armor upgrades. He finally starts one, but at this point I'd be surprised if it even gets a chance to complete. This base is definitely dead for Stephano. One thing I'm surprised to see Goblin not add in is maybe a Dark Shrine. He's got money. It always adds the risk of a counterattack and things. It's very Goblin to do. He's going to go for a -400 instead. And get shield upgrades, which I like. Stephano, though, is still only really making Hydras. And I don't know if that's going to work out here.
Well,
Clones, get them.
Spoiler alert, it probably won't. Especially with especially with so much Storm available. And that's one of the things that makes Microbial Shroud so difficult to use, is because the Hydras are so bad against Storm. Queens, they can stand in the Storms pretty effectively. By the way, there was a recall that brought home the main army. The fact that Goblin is still gaining value with these Phoenixes, even past the point when like it's even worth having them, it's just really nice. It's just really nice that he continues to get something done.
He made these Phoenixes, what, 12 minutes ago? Yeah, about 12 minutes ago, and he's still got 6 of them alive, so they are finding value, as you said. I mean, even now, the Zealot run by coming in as well, that's super nice. Goblin's doing a good job of his multi-prong harass. He's up to, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 gases very soon, so he's going to start banking heavily. He's getting Vipers!
Getting even a single Viper for that is so good.
They are the key.
It was a full energy Viper.
Yeah. And now we can see the carrier force, 6 carriers fully upgraded with weapons as well. So they're attacking twice with +3. And I don't understand maths, but that's a lot of damage. And even these High Templars managing to scoop their way out of here. Now, this is still a lot of Hydras, and if Goblin gets surrounded, the feedbacks and the storms are great. Is there any Vipers left that can do anything?
I don't think so. Oh, another one. He might have had an abduct, but it got feedback as well. The storms are devastating. The fireballs raining down. Carriers with their interceptors. There's just so much DPS. Are there any storms remaining, though? No High Templars left over.
Yeah, the Archon is still doing so much damage. It's not being targeted as he's... Stephano is trying to take down interceptors instead. Even these Immortals are just raining down fire. They don't do a lot, but every shot they're doing is killing a Hydralisk pretty much. And Goblin right now is up at 200 supply, and Stephano is very much not. It looks like Goblin will be taking map 1 with his traditional Goblin style. He still has a decent amount of interceptors, maybe. He might decide to recall here, possibly, but I don't think he needs to. I think Goblin can just stand and fight. Oh, actually, no, he does have to recall, I think. Or he could just win the game.
If Stephano had, 90 drones and a big bank and he's maxing out more Hydras, he probably cleans that up.
Yeah.
But he was never really, you mentioned it before in the other games, he never really went above like 80 drones, and he was building spores, and he dropped back down to 75 and then 67. Not ever really the greatest economy for Stephano, and it's tough. It's tough going up against that carrier storm army. And Stephano actually made it look a lot closer at the end than I expected him to, but it was still just way too much. Goblin played a good game right there. Look at that. Obviously, folks at home can't see this, but the army value tab is just devastating for this.
Is it just like, yeah? I mean, it's like a good ski trip. You go to the top and then you just go all the way down. 2K Atmos will be our second map. I just told Goblin that he is a gross StarCraft 2 player, just to remind him that he is disgusting. I very much imagine we'll be seeing something pretty similar in Game 2. It's just Goblin style. 2K Atmos is our next map. One thing we haven't talked about is that Goblin doesn't just do this. He's also got some Forge builds that I know he likes to do. He can do sort of anything that makes you... If you're a Zerg player, anything that makes you mad, Goblin has got it in his bag of tricks. Excuse me. Voice is a little bit gooey. My voice is going a little bit, but we'll keep it going. We'll be moving into 2K Atmos soon. But yeah, that was a great game one. I love it. I mean, I'm a Protoss player myself, and anything as disgusting as that, it makes me truly warm.
Sign you up, as it were. It is important to note, by the way, as well, that this is... So Stephano just won his previous match versus Strange, which puts him at 2-2, which is nice, and does actually pop him into 4th place in the group. Goblin, though, even though he's beaten Clem, he has lost his other 2 series, so he is currently at 1-2, having dropped to Skillis and Strange, 0-2 and 1-2 respectively.
Yeah.
So he is really, really looking to take this series down.
This is so big for him. It's big for both, but for Goblin,
really
it's probably win or eliminated for Goblin. I'd go as far as to say. we have a pretty weird group here. Stephano, of course, is at 2-2 and playing all of his games today. So we'll know where Stephano is likely to end things by the end of today. We'll know if he's at 3-4, 4-3, 2-11. Like, we'll have that full idea. As we load into our next map, it's going to be 2K Atmo Steadfast. And here we go. Let me find your camera. There you are. Introduce our first player for me.
Absolutely. Spawning up in the top right, it is the red Protoss player from Team Roddy. Going with Phoenix, going with Skytoss, going with Fireball Storm. It is Goblin.
And his player in the bottom left. One of the greatest players to ever touch a game. The Blue Zerg player needs to make the comeback happen right now. It is Stephano.
Now, I wonder what would have happened if Goblin had tried to go straight up to carriers when he went for those Tempests instead. Would Stephano have been able to break through? Because carriers take a lot longer to build than Tempests. Like, I think it's almost double the time. I'm going to look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure it's like 40 seconds versus 75 seconds.
I'm not sure. I just make them. It is standard so far from Goblin. I do very much anticipate Stargate as the name of the game here. It is his comfort pick. It is his safe spot. You know, when I feel a little bit sad, I go and sit in a bath and light a candle and read a book, and Goblin makes carriers and kills Zerg players. You know, different strokes for different folks. Gate Nexus core, very standard here from Goblin. Stephano not doing anything weird himself, just hatch gas pool. And we anticipate this is going to be similar. I did like Stephano going for the Nidus in the last game. Do you think there's room there to make something else happen or make more happen with that Nidus?
I was thinking about this a lot, actually. I don't think so. I liked the concept of it quite a bit, but it wasn't able to do what it needed to do. Now, I
think a lot of that was due to Goblin just going, okay, I'll make Tempests. That was like, not many players do that. Usually they come in very late or very early if you're doing something really weird. But you just go, okay, I'm going Phoenixes into Tempests. I haven't seen a lot of that. And it was really smart because it dealt with the static defense very well. It was able to pick down the army whilst Zealots and stuff were causing mayhem. I liked it.
Yeah, exactly. And I did look it up. It is 43 seconds for a Tempest versus 64 seconds for a carrier. So not that big of a difference, but 21 seconds in a game of StarCraft
got 21 seconds
absolutely be the difference. Like 21 seconds where you don't have, you know, what, like an extra 10% DPS, 5% DPS.
And also, with that many spore crawlers and stuff, the carriers wouldn't have been as effective that early. They really wouldn't have. They would have lost a lot of interceptors. He'd only have had 2 with what they come out with, like 4 interceptors, I think, 5 interceptors.
4,
4. That's not a lot. When there's, I think there were like 4 or 5 spores, they would have killed those interceptors in no time, and then it would have been a very different game. So it was smart. It was certainly either an experienced move or a very well thought out move from Goblin. Once again, the Void Ray printer's going. I can't do that noise, so I just make like a horse noise, like nay. I think that's what printers do. Printers go, I don't know.
That's how they do. We're going to see the thick beam getting activated, taking down that Overlord in a very quick move. Oh yeah, it is going to be an Oracle. So he's showing that, he's got different styles. He's ready to play them all. Very quick Evo, by the way, coming out of Stephano. Is this going to be fast +1 melee or fast +1 carapace?
Melee?
Oh, melee. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I enjoy me some fast +1 melee Zerglings, especially when they're Stephanos.
And especially when Goblin is showing that he's playing like the quickest possible third base. Like a 3-minute 45 third means he really doesn't have much on the ground. And if you go Void Rays, Lings aren't, if you go for like a big flood, for example, and I don't think that is what we're going to see just yet, Lings can be annoying to deal with. I don't know if there is the potential of a timing here to punish Goblin's build. The Oracle, though, giving a lot of information is going to be nice. As long as Goblin can keep that alive. Only the second Stargate added so far. +1 air weapons added as well. I think what's important right now is if Goblin can see the Evo chamber, because he hasn't just yet.
No, he is not. And +1 Lings. The funny part is, if he'd gone +1 melee Lings versus Phoenixes, that would have been really, really nice for Stephano because Mass Queen, Ling just queens for defense, and then, you know, oh, cute move right there from Stephano as he sees that the Spore Crawler is going to get on, or sorry, the Oracle's going to get on top of him, but he still loses the drone anyways, which is always unfortunate.
And
it does completely drain the Oracle, but you're always like, oh man, I did a good move and it didn't matter.
I ended up losing a little bit more money. Now these Lings have been shown, and as I said, one Void Ray really struggles to kill this many Lings. Okay, but when there's 3 of them, it's a bit of a different matter. 2 probes go down, so Stephano kind of happy with that, I guess. He lost like 7 Lings, so not bad by any means. The revelations continue.
Did not see that Evo. Just missed it.
I think Goblin is probably good enough to figure out something is happening here. Like he's seen, like next to no tech, he's just seen Lair. He hasn't seen behind the natural. He must know something's happening, right? Like he must be thinking, where's the money? Where's the? And he's fun. It has a lot in the bank generally, but I think Goblin is okay. I was gonna say I think he might go for a natural dive here. He's not going to just yet. Adding on his Templar Archives, continuing to make Void Rays. He's got 5, soon to be 6 Void Rays.
Oh, look at this. We're going to be seeing +2 melee, Bane Speed, and Aspire.
That's
now,
wild.
Is this going to be for Corruptors, or is this going to be for Mutas? Corruptors can be good, but you got to be real careful.
And when there's already this many Void Rays with upgrades, I don't know, man. I think Mutas is a better option here.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, I feel like Corruptors are okay, because obviously you can make them in bulk, but this is a lot of Void Rays. There's going to be 8 Void Rays. They've got +1. Like, I can't see any way you can make... how many Corruptors is that with no upgrades? I don't know what the conversion rate is. Like, you know...
You need a lot.
Void Rays. Yeah, you need a lot, and Stephano can't afford a lot. He's got a lot of gas, though. So he could make 8 Mutalisks and be really annoying here, and I kind of like that idea, to be honest.
Yeah, Raynor was, when Double Stargate was just hitting the meta and no one had figured it out, Raynor was one of the first players to make Mutas into then Hydraling Bane work really, really well. He'd get like 20 drone kill or 20 probe kills and then just go into a ground composition and his opponent's economy wouldn't get it. We're going to be seeing a move into the main base, but Stephano, he's got 3 spores, he's got 5 queens with a bunch of transfuse. Even though one of them not in the greatest position, he's able to save it easily and he keeps that alive.
Stephano starting +1 air weapons, but still nothing coming out of that magical little spire. Instead, Lings and Banes and mass being produced here by the Frenchman. His hive is on the way. He's getting upgrades as well for his infestation pit and continuing to drone up. Stephano's got a really... he's going up higher in drones than we've seen him traditionally, but Goblin's already got Storm, or very soon to have Storm. This is a scary push, but if Goblin holds... I mean, there's so many Void Rays.
Yeah, that was looking for an undefended base. That's not looking to attack when there's an Oracle overhead, when there's a shield battery and a cannon. He didn't see the Storm, but he saw the Void Rays.
Yeah.
Wise decision from Stephano. I still like what he was trying to do. This time, though, Stephano, yeah, he is geared up so much better for the late game, getting that Pathogen Glands, getting Infestors, getting Hive. He's going to be going double Spires, so it's not going to be for a bust. It will just be for heavy upgrade investment. Very interesting. He actually blocks off these 2 mineral patches.
Yeah.
So he just can't mine from them until he mines everything else out. That's really... I've never seen that before. That's funny.
Yeah, not great. I'm going for double spire this early. I know having the upgrades is nice for later, but I do feel like he's gone for it kind of early here, and that's a bit scary because what it's doing is it's giving Goblin time to go into his Golden Armada, his air upgrades. Okay, only 2-2 starting now, actually quite late, all things considered. He probably wanted to go into that earlier. Has he added on Flux Veins yet? No. So I thought Goblin would be a little bit further through his upgrade tree than he is. Immortals being added though for Goblin, I really like that decision to just get a very strong ground composition of Storm, of Immortals underneath. We saw how much damage they did even against the Hydra composition last game. And this is going to come down to a very, very big fight in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, and this is... I like that Stephano is showing a willingness to go strong into the late game. I would have liked to have seen him go up to like 90 drones and then start building spores, because he's already built mass spore, but he hasn't started, you know, doing 21. That off of the big bang. Yeah, he's got a ton of spores. He is gearing up for a very, very long game. We do see adrenal glands on the way. We've got +1 carapace coming down. Should be seeing +3 melee, I think, pretty soon as well.
Yeah, you'd hope so. Especially with the amount of lings that are being produced. We got another 26 in the queue now here. That Great Aspire is on the way. Goblin getting his -400, -400. This is going to be fine to defend with a couple of zealots here, and that magical shield battery keeping them safe. There's a lot of lings being produced right now, but Goblin's already up to 3 carriers, getting closer and closer to his 4th and 5th. He's got 8 Void Rays to support them. Now, Infestors are pretty good. We saw Infestors yesterday with the Lambo DNS game. Just absolute magic. Was it yesterday? Day before? Just hit massive fungal growths. Goblin unfortunately going to lose a few zealots here. Didn't manage to see the base, didn't manage to get much done to it. He's trying to expand himself down into the 3 o'clock point, but I don't think that base is going to be too long for this world, although that army is pretty scary.
Yeah, taking a look at the army value, lot of tech in this army for the Protoss. So much gas in there. That being said, there's going to be a lot of spore crawlers with this push too. Ooh, meanwhile, we've got a big ling run by coming through the middle. Oh, if he can deny +3 weapons, that would be so nice. Big.
Yeah, I think he will too. He will. The army coming in here, desperately trying to defend, but +3 air weapons does get denied. That's a big pickup here for Stephano. Goblin managing to cancel it before, so we don't get to see the magical deny. The magical deny message, but that's a big cancel because carriers scale so incredibly just well off of upgrades, with them attacking twice every time they attack. Of course, both of those attacks are benefited from those upgrades, so big pickup there for Stephano. 2 more cybernetic scores being made here by Goblin, so he can start armor upgrades as well. Better late than never, I suppose. Goblin's army is still terrifying. Like, oh, this is nice though.
Yes, it is. Now, the mothership has been hidden. And funnily enough, this Stargate is hidden by the cloaking field.
Yeah.
11 probes. I mean, it's nice, but I don't know if I like it.
I'm not sure if it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. If this base had been sieged at the same time by the Broodlords, I'd be thinking something different.
Yes. Yes.
Because it would have made a great... the air army of Goblin is very immobile. It's not very quick. Of course, the Void Rays are pretty speedy, but carriers are slow as they come, and we can see how long it's going to take him even to reposition here. It means some of the static defense might start going down. If nothing else, the batteries are getting big drained. Revelation maybe on the army. Oh, no, Yoink instead. Revelation comes down to keep track of it, but nice kill on the Oracle. Has to be remade. Vision game, so important here. And we can see now this base being sieged from a very long distance. Goblin doesn't have his own Tempest to match this just yet. In fact, he's pretty max, so we won't be seeing any Tempests coming in for a while. Can be difficult.
Yes, it can. Meanwhile, look at this. You know what this is for? This is going to be to pull the whole army into the main base.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very cheeky, Zest-esque recall. This is going to be a real... I was like, man, where's the Mama Core? And then or Mama Ship. And then I was like,
I wish it was a core.
I know where it is. I know what it's got plans for. But Stephano, he's really pushing this base hard.
Yeah.
And he has knocked down all the static defenses. His Spore Crawler's maybe a little bit too bold. Does lose a couple of there. Nice fungal growth, though.
Yeah, the fungal getting a load of the interceptors and a couple of those high-value units, but generally, Goblin's army is still standing pretty strong, and he's killed a lot of the Spore Crawlers. We're now looking at how many Spore Crawlers does Stephano have remaining. 25! So, yeah, he's doing alright. Here comes that recall, though!
Boom! And he's is going
so
to gut the main base of Berserk. Hive's going to go down. He's going to lose the Spore Crawl, the Infestation Pit. Stephano should... Okay, he's already rebuilding the Spire. He should be thinking, yeah, and wow, he's already rebuilding the spawning pool. Should be thinking an infestation pit as well, but he can't. Hive's already down, and he didn't restart a lair.
No, so he has to do that now on one of his safer bases. Goblin is just completely set up here. He's going to be able to deny some of these upgrades too. +3 air weapons, +2 carapace as well, +3 ground armor will be denied. There's even the ranged upgrade that could end up going down, not quite as vital. That one High Templar is ambitious, as he does end up getting fungled and then maybe even chain fungled to his death. Observer goes down here, but that probably isn't the worst thing, as we do have these revelations coming in. Goblin has done so much damage here.
Absolutely, he has. Both players do have a nice bank, but it's important to note that Stephano doesn't really have any tech. Ooh, double Neural Parasite coming on in here.
Yeah.
We will see those Infestors getting target fired down, but it does draw the army forward. Nice punishing Fungals. The Mothership does go down. Is there enough for Stephano to clear this up?
I don't know.
It is pretty close.
There's still a good amount of Void Rays too. We're still looking at 10 Void Rays. And Goblin's doing a good job of not biting too early and powering up the prismatic alignment. He's kept them very, very safe because he knows it's important to keep as much army as he can. He's making 11 Zealots. He's going to start some run-bys as well, I think. And now we see, there we go. Now those Void Rays are going to power up farther away here from those Infestors. That's a huge fungal growth though. Recall.
That is a big recall right there. That just saved Goblin's bacon. He would have lost that entire army and gotten almost nothing more for it, but recall saves him. He did not have Flux Veins this whole time. I was going to say, those Void Rays felt very slow.
Yeah.
Nice move from Goblin right here. Picks off his base. Sorry, go on.
My concern for Goblin is really he's not got much income. He's mining a good amount of gas still, but look at his mineral count or lack thereof. He needs a base, and he probably needs two because he lost the base to the Broodlords down at the 3 o'clock point that we're looking at here, and he never rebuilt a different one. So his mineral income has been very, very low. Now he is still maxed or very close to it. He still has a very strong Golden Armada with carriers doing a great job. He's building 3 more Stargates. But he can't afford to support them right now, really. Or maybe he can now, but not for that long. These Cracklings just doing such a good job. I think eventually the Zealots win. Maybe it would have been pretty close. Yeah, just doing a good job. They're going to get a cancel. Look out! Base!
Plus 3 melee Zerglings are nothing to despise. They are so powerful. Mothership is being rebuilt here. Stephano is playing I gotta say it, he's playing a little bit better of a late game than Goblin. Funnily enough, because of the losses both of them suffered, they have both taken huge damage. Finally, we're seeing that Infestation Pit being rebuilt here.
Yeah.
Spire is available. Stephano, he's got a better bank, though. And in terms of trading, yeah, it's a lot better. In terms of trading, he is trading pretty close to evenly.
Yeah.
But I'd say that favors Stephano in these situations.
Yeah, I agree with you. And this base, once again, most likely going to be cancelled. You can see it immediately there. The pylons go down. And Goblin needs this base. Like, it's not like, oh, it would be nice to have. It would, stabilize him. He needs it. Because his income is just, I mean, if we take a look at the income right now, it's okay. 1,700 minerals a minute. But that base is he's long distance mining. Oh, it looked like a pretty big storm catching some of the Corruptors here. One good thing for Goblin is he's done a really good job of shutting down a lot of the static defense. Those Fungals, though.
Absolutely devastating. And the Lings get on top of the High Templar. They're going to take out all but one of them. That is disastrous for Goblin. And the last one goes down. There's no fungal growth. And another recall comes in. He does lose another carrier on the way out, but...
He can't replace these. He has no...
No, he really can't. And the Lings have been so good.
Yeah, Goblin's got some money, but again, the more I keep talking about this, he's forced to long distance mine right now in order to keep his income up. 4 Tempests in the production tab, plus 3 air armor is also coming in. That's going to end up helping Goblin long term just survive some of these fights. This cannon is working double time, triple time, overtime without extra pay. But there's a couple of Lings right here killing so many workers. And Goblin, I mean, what he's got now is what he's going to have to win or lose the game with.
Pretty close. He does not have a whole lot. He does have 145 army supply, and he has rebuilt that mothership. But this is still looking pretty dodgy here for Goblin. Stephano is playing such amazing StarCraft right now. Goblin still does have a very clear path to victory with just, take one good fight and just steamroll your opponent. Yeah. But that's going to be a big ask. Stephano's spellcaster control has been pretty on point so far.
Yeah, now the static defense has dropped. There's only 13 Spore Crawlers left. But the Infestors have been the MVPs of this game. They've been doing a great job. One of them going down there, unfortunately. Goblin's got a ground army as well. That is kind of scary. Like, if the Broodlords are out of position, a few Stalkers and a couple of Archons can punish them quite heavily. And of course, you can never ever forget about the risk of the... oh, that's cute.
He actually grabs 2 Infestors for that, and
only 3
loses,
Stalkers? 2
Stalkers?
Yeah, maybe 3.
He does lose. Oh, no, sorry. There was a 4th one that went down before that. So, yeah, still still, 4
Gosh,
stalkers for 3 infestors in total?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great trades for sure.
Absolutely going to take that every trade, every time.
And
These
the
lings
arrow.
are MVPs.
Oh, they've been doing so much work. These cracklings of Stephano, just, you know, doing insane. We see another fungal coming, doesn't get the biggest connection. 1 carrier, 1 high Templar. The Ling's now starting to fall down to this air army, and that's nice. Both players right now are not mining particularly well. Goblin has started to get his income back up a little, as he has now managed to grab a base up in the top left that he will be saturating. He also, this army up here is actually really scary for Stephano. It's just the right size that you can't ignore it. You can't just be like, oh, I'll use reinforcements to kill it. When there's this many Archons, Lings can't deal with it. You need something else.
Yeah. Oh, that being said, he's going to get some big neuroparasites, getting all the Archons, and that is the cleanup that he's looking for. And, well, that's going to be an expensive set of losses for Goblin.
Yes. Yeah, that's our army dealt with as well for Stephano right now. Now, what is the trade-off? This base, that is, and there's, did he just cancel, or is there still an infestor being made from one of those eggs? Because if so, it might pop out immediately to its death. Goblin doing a good job of keeping Revelations up. Yeah, cancel coming in here on one of the infestors, which is nice. Both players, in terms of income, absolutely broke. Stephano's making 6 more infestors, 2 more Vipers. These Lings just doing so much. But look at the Zealot count up here now. Like, Goblin's ready. In terms of army value, Stephano is slightly ahead. He has a more mineral-intensive army. Gas as well, with the extra Vipers coming in. But Goblin's army is very strong.
Their armies are both insane on that army value count. Like, we're talking like 5,000 to 6,000 resources total, more than we're used to seeing. Actually, no, probably even more than that. Stephano's is at like
17k.
17,000 aggregate.
Yeah. Yeah, Goblin's at about 14, so... Wait, is that right? I can't do maths. Maths is hard. 13, yeah, 14. Goblin has 2 more carriers on the way. Once again, I'm going to keep harking on about it. Really, both of these players are the banks are running dry. Stephano still has a decent bank. How much lava does he have? Only 12. He has 13 queens on the map, though, so he could just drop some big chain injects if he needs to. The Revelations have been really important for keeping Goblin alive. Like, he cannot stop focusing. Oh, nice! The Storm and the...
Storm plus feedback.
Feedback, thank you. I was trying to say fungal, my mind is just gone. Yeah, nice long game here. These... if either player makes a big mistake, if all the High Templars die, if all of the Infestors die, this game could end within a blink of an eye. Both players need to be really on top of it. Clearing some creep using the Revelations here is nice. And Goblin continuing to drop those Revelations. Let's take a look at upgrades, because it does look like Goblin is pretty ahead, actually. Like a lot ahead.
Yeah, it's 2/2 air versus 3 attack, plus 3 armor, plus 2 shields.
2 shields. That's a very scary air army.
This is a nice little move.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the queen count, though.
Yeah, you're not breaking through the queens and the spines there. Ling's continuing
Stephano
to see.
wants to see. Yeah, he sees no additional base.
Be happy with that. Great Aspire back on the way. That will allow more Broodlords to come in if needs be, and they could end up having a big part to play in this game. Spore count back up to 23 here. Goblin now adding on a few extra gases, which are just so needed, because his mineral count is getting up there again. He's now finally beginning to bank some feedbacks here onto the queens. There's so many carriers, though. The Interceptor's doing a great job. That one, unfortunately, will lose its life. But a lot of the queens going down. Storms, Tempests, feedbacks, everything here to take that queen count down. It was still at 12, actually, so still a very healthy number.
One queen because of the transfuse.
That's insane. I thought he'd lost like 4.
Now that did drain like more than half the total energy on those queens. I think they were all maxed out on energy. Now one of them's maxed out. Still like 3-4 of them have high energy, but all the rest are pretty much empty. So that was actually really nice for Goblin.
Yeah, these small victories, they're going to end up being important. A lot of Overlords there could be nice for a little cheeky pickup. I like having the Overlords with the army, of course. The Interceptors will target them. It can mean that the army lives a little bit longer. Infestation Pit going back down here. Is that the only one? Yeah, there is now no longer an Infestation Pit, meaning those Infestors, their importance is they have to stay alive, and they have to not get feedback like that, as they just did. Goblin, though, he might back himself into a corner. We might be forced to see another recall here.
Yeah, very likely. We do see a big run by on the left side, and there's that recall. Oh, is he going to get the Mama ship? No, not quite. Meanwhile, on the left side, all the queens taken out and all the static defense. This was actually really, really good for Goblin here.
It's those upgrades. Those queens, of course, only at +1 and +2 carapace. Whereas Goblin's ground army has got +3 weapons, so hitting pretty darn hard. And that now means this base has to be evacuated. And this was a really important base for Stephano, because now all of a sudden he's barely mining 450 minerals and 50 gas per minute, whereas Goblin still has that little bit more coming in, so he'll be able to, I mean, he's not going to catch up in the bank in terms of gas anytime soon, but he's still able to slow Stephano down and not let him get to monocle or double monocle levels of bank here. The Corruptor fleet, though, still very scary. What would be so big for Goblin right now is there's no recall. Oh my gosh. Is if he could cancel that +3 air weapons from Stephano. That would be huge. I'm not sure where the Spire is.
He did deny +3 flyer carapace.
Yeah.
It was big.
It was like, too.
If you could get both, that would be huge, especially since it's the Greater Spire. I would have really liked to see Stephano tuck it in more. He finally, as he rebuilds his spawning pool, does get 56 more lings in production. He loses the hive, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He got the neural, but unfortunately, it like coasted out of range and snapped that neural parasite. We are going to see this attack getting cleaned up on the left side finally, and Stephano should be able to take down this base on the top side. Goblin has rebuilt a mineral bank, but now his gas bank is almost non-existent.
Yeah. How many gateways is he on? 12. So if he really wanted to defend that base, he probably could have walked in 10 zealots and had a pretty good time. And we're going to see that now up at this north side. Cannons and super battery is going to do a pretty good job, but alongside the zealots, I think Goblin could maybe clean this up. I don't know. Super battery is good, but it is going to run out pretty soon. More warpins needed. The cannon working overtime. It will eventually clean up here. But that's 16 dead probes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was actually really... Goblin's on 12 probes right now.
Yeah, that's none.
It's so few. Like, that's such a small economy. But that being said, he only has one base to mine anyways.
Yeah.
I think every single base that he has is out of gas, too.
Yeah.
Really nice revelations, by the way, during this whole time from Goblin.
He's never got himself caught, ever. Goblin's making probes. He knows he needs to get a few more. He's only at 1,500 minerals and really no gas with a 200 gas bank. He's getting +3 armor, which is going to end up being very important. The Tempests here, they're just so big. Oh, that's a decent-sized fungal. Feedback comes in again on a queen this time. And the High Templar retreating back under Mama's care here will end up being saved despite being on red health. This is just a massive game of cat and mouse. Who will bite first? Who will come out of their hidey hole and end up taking that big fight? As both players still very close to max. Goblin's +3 shields is going to be finishing in just a second. Here we go. Big fight coming in. Oh my god, this is massive.
Massive storms. Neural parasite trying to come in, but they do get killed off. More neurals coming on it. Is that going to be enough to hold Goblin? He's got... But there's no corruptors left.